Dear students, how are you? I hope you are keeping well and staying safe at home. I am also fine. Before starting my class, let me first introduce myself. I am Aziz Rahman, Assistant English Teacher, Ali Group Union Secondary School. Dear students, you know that the velocity of the disease COVID-19 is revealing all over the world, and day by day it is deteriorating. And that's why I advise all the students to maintain social distance, to acquire knowledge of getting fresh, getting clean, and for this purpose you should use mask everywhere, and you should clean your hands and face again and again, and you also should use hand sanitizer. Dear students, now I am here to take English for class 8, and our today's topic is subject verb agreement. This is the part of right form of verbs, and it is very essential and important for the students to know the use of subject verb agreement, because most of the students make mistakes in this area, and that's why I am going to take subject verb agreement of class 8. Subject verb agreement, because verb should follow subject according to its number and person, because if the function of subject verb agreement is false, our writing is fruitless. So we must know the rule of this area. Our first rule of subject and verb agreement is, if the subject is in singular number and third person, the verb also should be in singular number, written in singular number, and should be third person. Because if subject third person singular, verb also should be third person singular. And we know that if we add yes or yes at the end of verb, it is then third person singular. But we know that in case of noun and pronoun, if we add yes or yes at the end of noun, it is then plural number. But in case of verb, if we add yes or yes at the end of the verb has the number of singular form. Okay, dear students, now I am going to an example on the blackboard. Dear students, look at the example on the blackboard. I have written, he go to school regularly. This is the example of present indefinite tense, and in present indefinite tense we know that subject must be singular form if the subject is singular form of third person. So, dear learner, here he is singular form, and its verb should also be singular form. And we know that go is a plural verb and its singular form is goes. So dear student, you may write goes. He goes to school regularly. Okay, dear students, and our second Kamal and in the meeting. Dear students, let's have an example on the blackboard. Kamal and Jamal be in the meeting. Dear students, you have noticed Kamal and Jamal. These are two singular words. Thus, Jamal is singular word and Jamal is also Kamal is singular word and Jamal is also singular word. And these two singular words are joined by and. And when there are two singular words connected with by, then the verb must be included. So I may write here are, otherwise where. We may also write where because there is a signal of this sentence. So Kamal and Jamal are or where in the meeting. We cannot use here is or was because Kamal and Jamal are two persons and they are connected with and that's why the verb must be used. Our next rule, the headmaster and the secretary be sorry, present in the meeting. Dear learners, I have written two sentences. These two sentences seem to be the same, but there is some difference between these two sentences. The first sentence, the headmaster and secretary be present in the meeting. And the second sentence, the headmaster and the secretary be present in the meeting. Can you identify the difference between the two sentences? Yes, yes. The only difference is here there is no article and here there is an article. Because the headmaster and secretary, the second word does not take any article and the first word takes article the. So the two words are the same person, but so the verb should be singular one. But in the second sentence, the headmaster and the secretary, the headmaster takes article the, and also the secondary takes article the. So they are not the same person, they are different persons, and that's why the verb should be plural. So we may write these was, but in the second sentence are of the why? Because there is some difference between these two sentences, and the only difference is article. If article sits before the two subjects, then verb should be plural, and article if article takes before the first sentence and there is no article before the second sentence, second subject, there the verb should be singular. Okay, dear students, this is the very important rule for the students of class 8, 9, 10, 6, 7 and so on. So you must be careful about using singular form or plural form of verbs. Okay, dear learners, and our second and our next example. Dear students, there is also a sentence, and this sentence, in this sentence, there are two words also: slow and steady. Slow and steady. Slow and steady win the race. They are not slow and steady are not the different words. These, though they are two words, but they indicate one person. Indicate one person or one object or one thing. So, slow and steady is the singular subject. So, the verb also should be singular form. Okay, dear learners. So I will write here wins. Wins. Because solo and steady are not different subjects, they are the same subjects, and that's why the verb should be singular form. Isn't it? And our next example is this boy and this girl have got a prize. Dear students, look at the blackboard carefully. I have written this boy and this girl have got a prize. His boy and his girl. Though boy and girl are different subjects, but they are connected with his before them. His boy is added before boy, and his girl is added before girl. So when two common nouns or two nouns are added with by, okay, added with by, and if there is some words such as there are some words such as is, every, no, and then the verb should be singular. Okay, dear learners, singular verb, because his boy and his girl are the same, are not the same subject, but we notice that is added before boy and simultaneously before girl, and that's why our verb should be singular. So I will write here has got. Has got. But if I write boy and girl, then the verb should be plural. Should be plural, and then I have to write have. But here, is boy and is girl, in this sense the verb should be singular. Okay, dear learners, and our next rule. He, along with his brother, dear learners, let's have another example on the blackboard. I have written he along with his brothers be responsible for this. And you have noticed that he along with the word should be memorized. Along with is a word. Along with is a word. There are some words like along with, such as along with, together with, accompanied by, in addition to, and as well as these are the conjunctive words, and if this word connects two words, then the verb should follow the first subject. Okay, dear students, there are two subjects here. One is he, and second is his brother. There are two subjects joined with along with. So in this case, we should bear in mind that our verb should be singular, because the first subject is he is also singular number and it is third person, and that's why our verb will also be singular form in third person. So we may write here is or was. Okay, dear learners, because along with it's a conjunctive word, and according to the rule, we must put or write the verb according to the first subject. According to the first subject, it should be memorized by the students, and in most cases, the students may mistake. And if you learn this area very carefully, you must see that you are not making mistakes in your writing area. In the time of examination, in the time of practicing, so you must practice this area. Without practice, no students can be capable of writing these items at all. Okay, dear learners, and our next rule. Dear learners, I have written another example. Either he or his brother go to school daily. This is another type of grammatical rule of subject-verb agreement. You must see that I have written either or either. Either he or his brother. If two subjects are joined with either or, neither nor, two singular subjects. Okay, dear students, two same subject, that means singular subject, are joined with either or neither nor, then the verb should be singular. The verb should be singular, and that's why I may write here goes, because this is an example of indefinite sentence, because in this sentence there is a word daily, and daily is a indication of present indefinite tense. There are so many indications in present indefinite tense. These are daily, everyday, generally, occasionally, sometimes. These are the indication of present indefinite tense. Okay, dear students, there are so many items here, and next I will go another example of subject verb agreement. Dear students, I have written another example of the same rule, but there are some difference. Neither she nor her sister be beautiful. Dear students, you have noticed there is some difference because in a previous sentence I have written either he or his brother, not brothers, but in this case, in this sentence, neither she nor her sisters, not sister. And if either or neither nor is joined with two separate subject of separate number, that means it may be one is singular subject and the other is plural subject. When singular subject and plural subject is joined with neither nor or either or, and in this case we must write plural verb. We must write plural verb according to the last subject. According to the last subject. In this subject, in this sentence, the last subject is sisters. Last subject is sisters, and first subject is she. First subject is she, and second subject is sisters, and she is singular, but sisters is plural. That's why our verb should also be plural verb according to the last sentence or second sentence. So I will write here are or why. It may be also past tense. It may be also past tense. And I will going to example of another rule, and before that I must discuss the topic with dear students. When we find three persons at a time, that means first person, second person and third person in the same sentence. Okay, dear student, if the subject may be in three persons, there is a rule to write them: first person, second person, and third person. The rule should be 231. 231. That means 231. That means you, she, and I. You means two, she means three, I means one. These are called 231. This is the rule to write down the subjects in a sentence. If we want to write down these three sentences in a three subjects in a sentence, we must follow the figure. We must follow the figure. First, two means you, three means she, one means I. And in this way, we must write three subjects at a time. Suppose you, she, and I. Happy. Dear learners, look at the example. I have written here you, she, and I because our rule is 231. 2 means you, 3 means she, and 1 means I. So the subject, three subjects should be written in this way, and their verb must be plural because they are plural in number. Because you, she, and I, there are three persons here, so the verb must be plural. Okay, must be plural. But our sequence is the same way. Is the same way because we cannot write I, you, I, she, and you in this way. I cannot write. Okay, dear students, and there is another rule of using these three persons in a sentence when there is some guilty or guilt or culprit, because if the subjects are culprit or guilty for anything, the figure should be changed. This figure will not be used in this area, and then we must write 1, 2, 3. That means I, you, and she or he. Suppose I am going to give an example, such as I, you, and she, he, culprit. Culprit. Dear learners, look at the blackboard. I have written I, you, and she be culprit because I, you, and he are culprit. That means guilty for anything because we have made mistakes, and for those we are responsible and we are liable. And that's why we may write the three person in this way: first one, then second, and last third. Okay, dear students, if there is any liability, the subject should be 1, 2, and 3, and there is no, and if there is no liability, the subject is should be 2, 3, and 1. 2, 3, and 1. Okay, dear students, so you should bear in mind these two rules because 2, 3, 1, and the second 1, 2, 3. Okay, dear students, this is very important rule, and the students make mistakes in several areas when there are joint persons or so many persons, then they get confused to write the sequence. Okay, dear learners, so you must learn this sequence in this case. Otherwise, we cannot be able to form right form of the verb. Okay, we will not be able to write right form of the verbs. So, dear learners, there are so many items also in subject verb agreement, but I am not able to finish this item today because I should take a lot of time. But our class is very short, so I cannot take all the items at a time. Dear students, when I meet you again, I must discuss this area. That means subject verb agreement again. Till then, Allah Hafiz, and I hope you will you will keep safe and you will get rid of this disease. And this disease is not a small disease. You must mind it. You must think of this disease and try to get rid of this disease and save your family, save yourself, and save the country. Your life. Okay, thank you.